Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to Python Basics series. Okay, you might be wondering why you are seeing part of it in the previous video we mentioned that we are done with the part 4 of the control flow, but we have discussed about the range function inside the control flow series. So, but for this, I decided to make a video on itself for the range function because there is some things I omitted on it and you just need to understand. So a range function helps you to create a sequence of numbers. So with the starting point being the default is 0, the stop you always supposed to define. So this is the syntax for a range function. You are always you are supposed to go for the to on the range, we have the start, stop, and step. So the required here, whenever you are defining the range function, is the stop. So the rest are optional. But for this, for the start, the default is always 0. For the step, the default is always 1. So they are optional because they have the default values, but you can always use them. So we are going to use the range function to create a sequence of numbers. We can print from 1 to 10. So let's use that. So we can use the for loop for I in range. So we are going to just use the required value 10. So and I said required function, it's like you accessing a sequence of numbers from 0 to 10 without 10 being included. The value you pass into the range function is not included. It's not printed. That's what I mean. So I always use that a simple word to express this. It's like you are saying I is less than 10. So for range function, it's going to print all the values between 0 and 10 because the default start, whenever you don't define the start, the default is always 0. So it's going to print values from 0 to 9. The value that is passed to the range function is never included. So we can print I. So, but the count of numbers for range function must be 10. The count must be 10, but the value passed to the range function will never is never printed. So the values passed to the function are never printed. So the value passed inside the range function is never printed. So it starts from 0 to 9. So let's run that. So like that. But if you want it print from 1 to 10, you can always have to use the start. You can always, if you want the values to start from 1 to 10, you can always add 1 here plus 1. So it's going to print from 1 to 10 like that. So you can always define the start, stop, and step, or you can always define start and step and stop like that. So this is how you can do. So for a start, you can say I want it to start from 1 like that. So it's going to start from 1. So it's printing from 1 to 9 like that. So this value will always be omitted. You can always do this. Ensure that the step is the value that is after it's printed the first value. The second value is the step is the value that we are adding to the first value. For example, here when you don't pass the start, the value will always be the default start value will always be 0. So if we pass the step as 2, so it will always add the 2 to the previous number. So the start is 0. Then on the second iteration, the second number will be 2. On the third iteration, the number will be 4, like that. So the default, we can pass the default as 1. That you can see. So the first value was 1. The second, so it's the step is 2. So it adds like that, and it ensures the the condition of the value is met for the sequence we want to print. So if you are to use the start, stop, and step, you have to for these values or the parameters or the argument you are passing to the range function, you can always use start and stop, but you can't use the stop and step. If you are to use the step, you have to include all the argument, the all the other. You have to include the start. So like this, I want to show you. If you use start and step like this, you won't print anything. See? So if you are to use the start, so if you are to use the step, you have to include the start like that. So and if you want to include the value from 1 to 10 with the start being 1, you can increase the value of the stop like that 1 to 9, and this you can give it 1 or just omit it like that. So basically, we are saying that the range is used to help us come up with to create the sequence. So, and that's all for the range function in Python. And that's the end for the control flow. And that's the end of the range function in Python. See you in the next video. Thank you.